Day 37. If you are still with us, I can't tell you how proud I am of you. We're in the book of Job, and we're talking about suffering. You know, suffering and pain is horrible. Nobody likes to suffer or to see somebody suffer. And even more than that, nobody likes to see somebody suffer who didn't deserve it. And Job is suffering, and he didn't deserve it. And he doesn't do what most of us would do. He chooses to question God and ask God why. And more than that, what he doesn't do is he doesn't curse God or turn away from God. You know, we can all think of a time whenever we have suffered or we've seen someone else suffer, and most of the time we try and fix it or we try and make it better in someone else's life, but that isn't what they need at all. Suffering sometimes isn't such a bad thing. It can put us in a humble state of needing God. It can put us in a state of worship that no other situation can. And it did that for Job. We need to be careful not to be like Job's friends, as you've just read or are going to read. They thought that they could fix things. They thought that they could make them better. But instead, we need to realize that we don't always know the full story. We don't always see the big picture of what's going on in our friends' lives. Sometimes they don't need our advice at all, and sometimes they don't even want it. You know, when you go through suffering, often your life is transformed, deepened, marked with a state of holiness and beauty that wasn't there before. And the same thing's true for our friends that go through suffering. So instead of focusing on preventing it or trying to fix it, and in our friends' lives trying to give them advice, instead we should embrace it. Look for God in it. Look to God in it. Learn from it. And when it involves our friends, don't give them advice, but join them in prayer. Join them in petitioning God and asking why. You know, giving somebody pity and advice often looks like you are above them or better than them. But joining somebody in their suffering, truly coming alongside them and suffering with them, can be life-changing for both you and your friend. So I hope that you do that instead of giving somebody advice and thinking that you know the whole story. But trust in God and search Him and seek Him in suffering.